Welcome back to another market closing live stream, everyone. Welcome. Well. Let's take a look at what the heck is happening in the market. And I'll tell you, it's kind of been an interesting day. We had retail sales data coming in lower than expected, inflation expectations coming in higher than expected, though inflation expectations turn like the wind. So I personally don't like to hang my hat on inflation expectations. We got our own expectations. But anyway, it's giving a very interesting market. And, I've been talking to some folks about, supply chain shortages and that. And I'll tell you, some of the people who do importing from overseas in China, they're very concerned that, sure, maybe certain supply chain issues will get solved by September and October. But what happens once you go into the holiday season? People want to start spending more, and that's usually when you really get supply chain constraints. Now, personally, I think I think a lot of those concerns, the long run concerns over supply chains and that, are kind of built in. But it's something to, in terms of current pricing already, but it's something to consider, something to definitely consider. You do have holiday seasons coming up towards the end of this year, and those are things that are going to create pressures as well for supply chains. So we'll see. It's going to be one heck of a 2021, that's for sure. I think this is a roller coaster year, and I'm still not ruling out that correction in the S&P 500. Now, I did today add to the market more. I added twice to the market actually today. I added early this morning, and I added this afternoon. That does mean I'm a little bit in margin now. Not expecting to go to margin any further unless we saw, like, if we really saw that S&P 500 20% correction, I'd probably go a little YOLO into margin. and by that I mean 20-30% again. Right now 2-3% gave me an opportunity to buy a little bit at some of these depressed prices. This is a pretty green day in the market. Let's go ahead and look at the sticks and see exactly what's going on and get a feel for what we've got here. So let's go. Here we go. So somebody says there's another FUD article on Tesla. Somebody dying in the Tesla. I mean, that always sounds horrible. Oh, look, Gavin Newsom failures. By the way, if you have not yet, go to my Twitter if you have not yet, and you gotta appreciate this one, at least this one. Okay, I'm not gonna read you like political tweets and stuff like that here. We gotta focus on the market and what's going on. But look at this one. Gavin Newsom says it's time to go big, spend $12 billion on homeless, like getting homeless off the streets. And I did the math for 65,000 people. I wrote, it takes a true career politician to spend $184,600 per homeless person to get them off the street. That's crazy. I don't know, call me crazy maybe, but that $184,000, that sounds nuts to me. So anyway, okay, where were we? So somebody says there was a FUD article about Tesla, about somebody dying in a Tesla. Tesla, I think you mean check the Bloomberg terminal. Tesla death, that's not good. Not Nikola Tesla. No, just from 3. There must be a pretty new hit there because I don't see that. Oh, 16 minutes ago. Here we go. Newsweek has it. Fatal crash in California, at least 4th U.S. death surrounding Tesla autopilot software. I mean, that already sounds like FUD because watch them attribute the Texas to autopilot, and the Texas crash had literally nothing to do with autopilot. I don't know if they will, but let's see. SoCal, 4th death involving Tesla autopilot. Fontana, 35-year-old male, is a May 5th crash from an overturn. Okay, CHP is still investigating, high level of interest. Where are the other deaths they're referring to? But yeah, that's a bummer. But it's likely either autopilot or full self-driving. Oh, but it's likely that either autopilot or full self-driving were in operation for the driver to be in the back seat. Wait, this is Texas. Wait, or was he in the back seat here? What? Wait a second here. What? The car was operating on Tesla's partially automated driving system called Autopilot, the CHP says. The CHP does not normally comment on ongoing investigations, recognizes the high level of interest in these cases. We felt the information provides an opportunity to remind the public that driving is a complex task and requires full driver attention. And this makes sense. CHP, this was somebody else. No, here we go. CHP has not said if officials have determined whether the Tesla in the I-80 incident was operating on autopilot. Oh, this is where somebody was found in the back seat. Well, you imagine it would be. People just doing stupid things. Seriously. it blows my mind. People climbing into the back seats of these cars while having the autopilot on. That's just nuts. I'm not gonna spend too much more time on that. Let's go and focus on the sticks right now. But you get a lot of this stuff. I mean, I don't know. Well, you get so much negative attention in the news. It does create a nice buying opportunity though, because look, as somebody who uses autopilot on the highways regularly, I know you cannot climb in the back seat yet. It is not ready for that yet. But does it make me a safer driver? Way safer. Is it better than me at many different things, especially when you're distracted? 110%. It's a phenomenal system. But people abusing it and then making news coverage out of it, I don't know. All right, so let's take a look at the sticks here. What do we got? Let's go to the minute. We've got Gevo cooling off a little bit here towards the end of the day. Let's zoom out so we can get the full day here. Nice run on Gevo, though. Nonetheless, let's actually go 5 minute. Then we can really see the day in scope here. There we go. We'll zoom into the day. So, yeah, you can definitely see the run on Gevo kind of flattening towards the end. DoorDash, wow, what a rocket. 22% on DoorDash. Absolutely incredible. A really great job here, DoorDash. We've got Big Digital up 21%. We did an interview with the CEO of Big Digital. We've got Upstart. There we go. Back over 100. We talked about it this morning when it was at $86. In our live stream this morning, we talked about how Upstart tends to go back over 100 to 110 and trade around those ranges. And it did today. BNGO 19%. Marathon and Riot, this basically trading like sister companies again, both up 17% here. Dogecoin, really, it almost feels like out of nowhere, had a big run. I do want to see if Elon tweeted, though, because Elon's obviously famous for these. So let's go ahead here. Elon Musk. Let's see what we got here. If we had any new tweets here about Doge. So we have a few retweets here about Configurator Live in Hungary. We got the SpaceX from 21 hours ago. No, nothing really new from Elon here, but we did all of a sudden have this run here on Doge. Now it has sold off a tiny little bit. Let's see, it ran up. It was a little higher than this. Let me go to the 5 minute on Dogecoin as well. Yeah, see, look at that. It ran up to almost 60 cents. Hit a strong resistance there at 60 cents rather. Dropping back down from 59.4 to 57 right now. But I mean, talk about the rally here. This was at like a low of 36 cents not that long ago. And we're up a good 21 cents right now on Doge. This is a really impressive rally. And so much of this has to do certainly with what we're seeing around Elon Musk and Doge. Is Tesla selling off on that car news? Nope, not really. Kind of gobbling it up. It's like, how much lower can you go on Tesla? Tesla yesterday was down almost as low as it had sold off in March of 2020. Now, that's different than saying it went to the price that it was in March of 2020, because it didn't. March of 2020, I remember seeing it on my chart, 355, and me going entering Tesla to buy it. I was crazy. And I was just nibbling, buying the dip. Did the same thing back then. I will say the one regret I had in April of 2020 was when things started going green. I'm like, no, only buy on red. I'm now putting a little asterisk there that if things go a little bit green and I'm still in buy the dip mode and prices are really low relative to where they have been consistently, like oversold levels, I'll still buy, even if things are slightly green, just because I don't want them to run away from me. Like Tesla at 600, come on. I don't want that to run away from me. So I've been adding. Added to about 10 or 20 stocks today. A big chunk, actually, just in the last hour. We did our private course member live stream a little bit late today, but we did a nice sort of lecture on doing a future PE weighted average buy into the market. It was really good. But anyway, check out the Stocks and Psychology Money Group and that expiring coupon code down below if you're interested in that kind of content. But anyway, focusing on the sticks here. Tesla is up about 3% here. We've got a lot of green here. I mean, almost everything is green. I'm trying to see if we do have a page of red. On our all stocks, we actually don't. On all stocks, we do not have a full page of red, just in recently viewed. We have BTX down a bit, 8%, very volatile kind of momentum play here. Aurora Cannabis not as low as it was. We've got GameStop down 271. Walt Disney actually not as bad as it was here on the day. Walt Disney was down almost 5% at one point. It has recovered a bit here, coming back to what are we at now? We're at 173. Coinbase down a little bit more at 259 here, down 2%. G10, and that's it. These guys are pretty much flat. I mean, very, very little red today. It wouldn't be a surprise for me to see maybe a little bit of red next week again as we open. But because I do still have a belief that there could still be that S&P correction. But if we get more data that comes out or more companies saying, hey, we're starting to see supply chain pressures ease, you might actually be surprised. We could be rotating towards that September and October push that I'm expecting. Not guaranteed, but 70 to 80% expecting. We could be seeing that kind of September to October push start getting priced in sooner. And that's one of the reasons that I've been just regularly adding. Every single day I get asked, so when are you selling, Kevin? If you think it's going to go down, why aren't you selling? I don't do that. I add when stuff is on sale. When somebody comes up to me and they go, oh, Kevin, here's a big old Black Friday coupon code. I go shopping. Let's listen to Sarah Eisen for a moment. Let's take a break from Kevin here. Give Sarah a shot.
Here to break down all these crucial moments of the trading day. And today we've got Ariel Vice Chairman Charlie Babrinskoy.
Kind of just introducing people right now.
Kicking off with the broader market, stocks are rallying for the second day in a row, near session highs. Despite today's gains, though, the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ are all on track for their worst weekly performance since late February. Mike, it was a tumultuous week for the market. We're ending on a high note. What's the driver for this rally, especially in the NASDAQ, which is coming back?
I would say the driver for this rally was the sense that the shakeout over 3 days was not necessarily about anything that was core to why this market is up here necessarily. That little inflation scare, a little bit of a positioning shock. We also have had the big NASDAQ stocks, the growth stocks, having been leaders on the downside. They did seem like they got a little bit stretched. That was the one part of the market that looked like it was oversold and primed to bounce. Yields down, allowing it to happen. So I do see this as a lot of the typical give and take of a pullback. Today's action, this sort of just low volume levitation over the course of the day is showing you that nobody really felt compelled after this to sell aggressively into it. It's still bringing the market right back up to another one of these little points where it's an obvious place to have a little bit of an argument about what comes next, because it's right up near this area where the market stalled for 4 weeks before this week's spill.
Yep.
So, Charlie, inflation arrived and has gone again already, right?
Oh, stop. Well, no, absolutely not. Inflation, finally, we're getting that people are acknowledging inflation is here. Mr. Powell has been denying that was here. He was saying, what are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? And we saw a very scary number, 0.9% in 1 month. The apologists for inflation say that this is all about where inflation was a year ago, but that 0.9% is versus a month ago. So we are having real inflation right now. All the markets are showing it. The tips market, the commodities markets.
Preach.
We are just now seeing inflation in the numbers, but we're going to be seeing a lot more of it for the next at least year.
But what leads that to actually hurt stocks, Charlie?
Shorting the market, are you?
Only when yields spike as well, the stocks sell off. They've settled back the yields over the last 24 hours or so, and stocks are rallying. So does that mean, again, that for the next few weeks at least, until we get another print perhaps on the inflation side, and unless or until rates do have to go up, that actually stocks are going to be the best place to be again?
Yeah, discount rates are not necessarily the same thing as 10-year Treasury rates. Discount rates are the rates in which people discount the future earnings, particularly of growth stocks. And that's not necessarily the same thing as the risk-free rate. I admit I'm stupefied as to why anybody would buy a 3-year Treasury rate for 33 basis points of return, knowing you're going to have a negative return. But there are people that are doing it. But that doesn't necessarily mean stock investors will. And stock investors are increasing the discounts that they're putting on long-term earnings. That's going to be bad for growth stocks and relatively better for value.
Now, it's been a very rough week for shares of Tesla. Phil LeBeau breaks that down for us. Phil, a little bit of a bounce today, but big declines week as a whole.
Brian Walsh
right
nailed
now,
it.
Tesla is on track.
This comment right here nails it. These people on the TV here are oftentimes so late. It's like That guy should have been saying that in February. Then he'd come in across as a hero, right? But late to the news.
In a row. Look what happened this week with Tesla. The headlines, it would seem like they were swimming against the headlines all week. They had the weak China sales report. There was another NHTSA crash probe announced, although they did get some good news from the initial investigation of a crash in Houston that seemed to steer away from autopilot being linked to that crash. And then you have the Tesla shares dropping under the 200-day moving average, now trading under $600.
Boom, right there. These talking heads should be required to disclose their positions. No kidding. Tell us how short you are. Man, I could see Sarah Eisen doing that. Sarah going, uh-huh. How much you short in this market?
Earnings. Guys, back to you.
Phil LeBeau, thanks so much for that. Mike Santoli, of those factors that Phil just went through, the technical one, below 600, below 200-day moving average, perhaps getting the most attention this week, though important to see it bounce today because, of course, yesterday, while other things were bouncing, Tesla still closed lower.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the stock really broke stride hard starting in January. It obviously is well below its highs. It's not really acting as almost any kind of bellwether except for, the collective enthusiasm.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull off of CNBC for a moment here. Let's go ahead and hit back to the sticks and just take a peek here a little bit more. I do want to clarify. Okay, this use your referral code for a new Tesla, 1,000 miles. Thank you. That's awesome, Michael. Congratulations. Yeah, you can actually save money as well if you get Tesla Solar. metkevin.com/Tesla. I rarely pitch it. It's in the description, buried in there. So thank you for that. It's funny how we're all realizing how rigged everything is. Okay, two things to say here. First of all, right on, other Kevin. Right on. Like these people that go on the news, I literally think they go on CNBC and like, this is our opportunity to get your stock market to crash again and our shorts to go up. It's just like what Bill Ackman did in March. I will never forget that guy basically bull-crapping us right to our faces. Oh, we got to shut down for 60 days. Shut down the stock market too. And everything's plummeting. And meanwhile, he's just like throwing money up in the air. Like, oh, thank you. And drowning him. These people are like, it's like, this should be like fraudulent, It's so ridiculous. So yeah, it feels rigged. But I do want to respond to, buy the courses in Doja. I do want to respond to what this guy said. He says, oh, Jerome Powell's telling you there's no inflation. You're going to believe me instead of your lying eyes. That's not what Jerome Powell said. Jerome Powell said there is inflation. It's just not here to last. All right. There's no argument as to is there inflation today. That's not the argument. The argument is, what are things going to be like in 6 months? What are things going to be like in 2 years? That's what matters. So much more important. I want to take a peek here at Doge too. See what's going on with Doge. We do have a little bit of a settle down here, a little bit of a pull down on Doge. I don't know why Doge ran. But what I do want to look at is I'm going to look at coin market cap here. We have a few minutes left to the closing bell here. I did go shopping today. I did go shopping yesterday. I did go shopping on Wednesday. So I've been plowing into this fire pit, and I know it's painful when you're working with fire pits. But I'll tell you, the experience from March and April, I'll never forget the feeling of feeling like crap buying. But then like 6 months later, you're like, oh, so that's when I should have been buying when I wish I was what I was doing. But yeah, the worst time to buy is when it feels euphoric. So anyway, looking at Cardano here, just going back here, looking at sort of the day charts here, obviously still bouncing around these all-time highs. Minute chart, a little volatile here around the 191 for Cardano here. We do have Bitcoin stock really at about 50,000. Ethereum did claw its way back to 4,046 here. We did drop to a low there of 3,600 for a period of time and bounced around 3,800 for a bit. But it's really the skyrocket here in Doge from 36 to where we are now at 56 has been probably one of the most impressive sudden moves here following Elon Musk's pump, shall we say. All right, let's go back on over here to the sticks. And I do want to also look at the 10-year quickly. Look at the 10-year. Okay, here was where we had peak disaster time. We had those CPI data, those CPI figures come out, or that CPI figure come out, whatever. Consumer inflation prices come out here. The next day's volatility that we also experienced. And we've really kind of fallen by the wayside here in 3-day chart. We're back at 163. We're not at those lows of like 149 that we've seen just in the last bit. Let's go year to date here. Year to date, we can really see we're just kind of ebbing and flowing around this level here, which is very nice to see this range bound between maybe these two blocks right here. We've really been bouncing around these two blocks here. That's what we want to see. This is not what we want to see right here. We want this. Ideally, we want this trend to rotate to the downside. Do keep in mind, though, as this rotates to the downside, Bitcoin does tend to track down with it. We could also look at the break-even for the 10-year. This is how people like to read inflation expectations. And this chart right now has been consistently up. But if we go to the year-to-date chart here, we did get a little bit of a moderating here. So we'll see if this ends up falling or stays on this uptrend. I personally prefer looking at the 10-year treasury because it seems to align a little bit better with what's happening in the market. Okay, let's go back to sticks. So looking at the closing here, we are 4 minutes away from the closing here. We do see this peak here. And remember, we are concerned like, oh, is there a chance of seeing a twin peak? Usually it's that first peak that's the higher one, with the exception of March of last year, where we just kind of kept getting these growing peaks. Usually once you get that peak, the rest tends to be a little bit more benign when you look, when you space them out a couple months at a time. So not uncommon for us to see this kind of peak volatility here. Some of my favorite times to buy. Honestly, if I could just go back in history and literally just have one indicator to determine when I should buy and when I should not buy, one of my favorite tools would literally be the CBOE volatility index. Because look at this, folks. If you just plowed money in every time this peaked, it's dollars, honey. I mean, look at that. You would have been buying March 27th dip. You would have been buying the summer the summer second wave dip. You would have been buying the tech sell-off dip in September rather than the crazy rally and run-up that we had in August. You would have been buying the election uncertainty, which we were doing a lot. Remember who was here? Tell me in the comments. Shout out to those of you who are here watching regularly right before the election. And what was I saying? We have peak uncertainty now. We expect uncertainty to go down no matter what happens after the election, and prices will probably go up. Prices skyrocket. I plowed money into the market between October 15th and November 4th. Thank you for the shout outs here. Star Rec, awesome. You were here. Been here the whole time. Awesome. Oh, big shout out to all of you. So thank you for being here. Very, very cool. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if there's one thing you could look at every video, that's awesome. If you could look at one chart, it really, I mean, this is a way to invest, in my opinion. I know it sounds crazy, and maybe it's just going to be, isolated to the sort of pandemic madness that we've been through, but really, really incredible here. Awesome. Thank you. Friends in love places. What's up, man? All right, so what else do we have here? GameStop rotating down a little bit, Coinbase down a little bit. Not a lot of red. It's a very, very green day, but do keep in mind we are at very, very low levels on many stocks. We are coming up on the closing bell in about 50 seconds here. I'm going to look at some of the runners here. Let's look at how Tesla's ending the day. We've got Tesla actually rallying into the close here a little bit with it looks like about 3 to 4% gains. We've got Upstart up 23%, also rallying into the close. BNGO rallying into the close. This is a very strong close right here. Wow, EXPI is up 13%. I mean, talk about one that was oversold. Glad we added to this one too. 20 seconds to the closing bell. Microvision, nice. Here comes that momentum back. Pay attention to the momentum ones. The Gevo, the Microvision, the Fisker, Plug Power. These guys are way, way, way oversold.
By more than 1% for the week as a whole. The Nasdaq down 2.3% for the week as a whole, but nonetheless a nice way to end the week. Tesla bouncing 3%, but remaining down 12% for the week. The RTPF up 4.5% today, halving its losses for the week. Still down 5% on the week, but nice 4.5% gain today.
Yeah,
At the close, Sarah, the Dow up 1%, the Nasdaq up 2.3%, S&P 500 splitting the difference up 1.5%.
Nice, Terry.
Still, worst week for stocks since February. Welcome back, everyone, to Closing Bell. I'm Sarah Eisen, along with Wilfred Frost and Mike Santoli, CNBC senior markets commentator. Take a look at how we finished up the day on Wall Street. Dow higher by 360 points or so. The biggest contributor to the Dow gains, Goldman Sachs, Boeing, Salesforce, Microsoft. So you had a good mix there of the cyclical names tied to the recovery, like financials and Boeing, and also some of the tech stocks, which played into the rally. The S&P finishing higher by 1.5%, still leaving it down for the week. Actually, it's first down week in the last three. S&P 500 down 1.4% for the week, despite today's broad rally where every sector rallied. There's the NASDAQ up 2.3%, so a nice comeback, but also still lower for the week by 2.3%. It's been down for the last few weeks, and technology has been especially hard hit, came back strong today. The small caps also did 2.5% higher there on the Russell 2000. Airline stocks taking off after the CDC announced fully vaccinated people do not need to wear masks in most situations. Coming up, we'll discuss how high these stocks could fly, what the outlook is looking like. Charlie Babrinskoy from Ariel Investments is still with us, and Alicia Levine from BNY Mellon Investment Management joins the conversation. Nice to see you, Alicia. First, though, I will send it to you, Mike, on a bumpy week for stocks, a week in which lumber prices, for instance, came off 7.5%. Big moves there. A lot of people looking at that as an inflationary tell. And the market overall struggled.
Yeah, some of the trending moves that really seem to get out of hand a little bit in the short term did unwind slightly. They had the stock market where I think almost everybody was thinking, we'll probably due for a little bit of choppiness, a little bit of a pullback. We got it. It so far looks somewhat like what we've seen earlier this year, these sort of single-digit percentage drops. A little bit scary in the moment. Not really sure if this is going to be really bring some more pile-on sellers out. It didn't do that yet. We still obviously have to see. And again, I was mentioning the S&P 500 did reassert itself over 2 days, but then
I'm going to pull back off this. I want to focus on for a moment the potential that sure. Is there a potential for more red? Absolutely. It's one of the reasons I'm not all in. I'm trying to preserve most of my margin so that if there's just some insane, because look, I don't know that any of us actually think we're going back into a recession, right? I think we all realize we're recovering, and there's a lot of short-term pain in the market right now. So I think we all realize right now we're on this recovery trend. It's just sort of balancing out where asset prices should be. I do think that a day like today, if we get a day like today, repeated, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm just saying, if this happens again, where we get a big rally on Monday, we could get a dip, okay? Realize we could get a dip. But if we get a rally on Monday, followed by a rally on Tuesday, I'm thinking there's a chance we could start potentially seeing shorts unload. We know there are a lot of shorts. We've seen short interest go up. A little 7-10% bounce on a bunch of things here. Not really going to affect things that much. Is it possible we rotate down more next week? Totally. It's been the crappiest market, and I still expect this market to be crappy through September and October. I don't know when that recovery is coming, but I'm not going to pass up on some of these prices. So that's why I've been buying. Okay, that's that aside. If we get another rally Monday or Tuesday, watch for it, and we get potential, sort of like the potential for a broader short unwinding, we could start seeing money move back in at these discounted prices, short unwinding, and both of these things pushing prices back up to levels where we've been. Now, previously, like Jan. Who knows if we'll go back to January highs so quickly. I don't know. I don't want to make that guess. But certainly higher than where we are now. Upstart 103, it's still sold down from where it has been. Big Digital has still plummeted. Look, it's up. It's up 22% right now, but it's in the toilet overall. All right, so even though we've got these, oh my gosh, things are up 20% or whatever, look at what they're bouncing off of. Look at DoorDash. Really? Look at that green candlestick you got here. It's still trash. It's still bad. We've got, Marathon Digital, Riot, these guys at some of the lowest levels we've seen in a while. Well, Dogecoin doing pretty well here. Still trying to find out exactly what just pumped Doge over the last few hours here. Very curious, but Doge has had a phenomenal day today. It's been very, very, very good today for Doge. But look at, for example, the Chargers here. Some of the lowest points we've really seen since December when we really got this rally over infrastructure and the new sustainable future. The recoveries have done very well. The recoveries, like look at Macy's, you haven't actually really seen a correction at these. But you have at EXPI substantially. I mean, look at this. We're at end of November pricing. It's insane. It's absolutely incredible, in my opinion, the opportunity here. And the forward PE here, juicy right now. Nano Dimension. Look at that. Nano Dimension. This is more of a momentum play. So keep that in mind. Very, very important, in my opinion, that when you're looking at these stocks, you remember there's a big difference between momentum play and then for sure fundamentals. Nano Dimension has really, really good ideas, but is not a for sure fundamental play yet. It's a momentum play. And that's not a diss on it, because I think that the potential is great, but we're not there yet. Same kind of thing with Plug Power, big momentum play. It's funny, I made a video about this when it was $75, and I'm like, I don't know, like this could have that quantum style pullback, which obviously did end up having. But you know, a lot of people were leaving me comments, and they're like, this thing's at the moon and now we're going to Mars. Oh, Kevin, you're late. You're only just now buying in. And they didn't watch the video, because in the video I said, I'm going to wait for a pullback to maybe even consider it. But I still believe, and look, Plug Power in like 24, I think if you're game on this and you have high conviction in this, hey, like these are the points to be adding, right? But I still think you might have to wait until 2028 to really start pricing in that 2030s hydrogen play. So it makes me a little bit more nervous for that long investment. But just know what you're getting. Are you getting a momentum play, or are you getting a fundamentals play? These and the recovery plays, you wonder, like, is there a potential for, like, here's just a crazy idea, and this is just an idea, but is there a potential maybe you see tech and consumer discretionaries like the online retailers recover, and all of a sudden the market's like, wait a minute, why do we pump Macy's and Nordstrom up this high? They're loaded up with debt. People are still spending more time online. We're still kind of losing business. Malls are still sucking. You know, there's always a potential that you end up having a recovery correction. Now, I'm not calling for a recovery correction. I'm not saying dump your recoveries. My big thing is, look, I'm taking my money and I'm putting it where the big sale is, and that's tech and consumer discretion right now. Don't get me wrong. Like ARK, anything Kathy related has just been getting decimated in the last 2 months. And that's not a slam on Kathy. It's just, it is what it is. It's the way it works. It's the way it works. So, I'll have to see the Sandy Monroe QuantumScape stuff. Don't get me wrong about this either. Palantir got 9% today. Good job. I like QuantumScape. Okay, don't get me wrong. Like QuantumScape. But folks, the tech is 4 to 5 years out. It's too early for me to buy that. Why would I, I mean, maybe at lower levels, but why would I buy into a momentum play? Unless I were going to trade it. If I were going to trade it, I'd buy it. But why would I buy into a crazy momentum play if their real growth probably isn't going to come for about 5 years in actual production? So let's see, what else do we have here? Mind Medicine. We do have Mind Medicine interview coming up. Let me write this down, okay? I'll give you a date. You can write this right next to the coupon code to the moon for the courses linked down below. I'm not sure if we're going to expire that this weekend, probably early next week, but that coupon code will be getting replaced once the marketer has its changes ready. Okay, so here we go. Mind Medicine. Here we go. May 21st, tentatively. May 21st, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that's 7:30 California time. That's next Friday. So next Friday at 7:30 a.m. California, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, Mind Medicine interview. I'm looking forward to that one, but it's just maybe something to keep in mind. Kevin O'Leary will be there. It will be a 45-minute interview between Kevin O'Leary, myself, and Mind Medicine. All right, what else? Love Kevin O'Leary. I liked his roast on CNBC. He's got to do more of those. Lemonade, nice bounce here, back to about $70 here. Neo, good bounce today, 7%. You got Open Door, Spirit Airlines, good bounces. Yeah, we did have the airline bounce today on the news of the mask or the removal of the mask mandate in certain indoor locations. Great. Especially for vaccinated folks, I think it is. Square up 5.22%. And I want to make it very clear, because when I say that, sometimes I get comments that are like, are you shilling vaccines? Look, personally, and actually just in all regards, I think vaccines are a personal decision. If you want it, take it. If you don't want it, don't take it. That's my belief. I just want to make that clear. RK up 4% here. I mean, look at that sell-off in ARK. Ouch. Let's look at the inflows and outflows for ARK here really quick. RK flows. Identify as vaccinated. Oh dear. I'm not going to comment. All right, so look at the outflows over here, folks. The big red days, May 12, May 13. People dumping ARK. Outflows don't mean the price went down. They literally mean people took their money out. Like money left the fund. Like the value didn't just go down. Money literally exited the fund. I guarantee you, okay? And we'll do this on Monday. And when I say guarantee, the guarantee is worthless because I'm not going to pay you anything. But I basically guarantee you that come Monday, we are going to look at the inflows for ARK and we're going to have a spike. We're going to see Monday's data be, I don't know, 100, 200 mil, some kind of nice spiky inflow over here on Monday. Because I'm telling you, the market that's just what it does. It sells. Oh, okay. If they're selling, I must sell too. Oh, it's backwards. It's so backwards. It's exhausting. It feels better. It feels very good to buy ARK when it's up 150% and it's skyrocketing in January. It feels great, but it's stupid. You know, I think that's why we get this impression of I don't know what I was gonna say. I have no idea what I was gonna say, so never mind. Question here: will you ever rotate to value? So I actually take a little bit of a Kathy stance on this. And I kind of alluded to this with this, talk about Macy's and Nordstrom realizing like, oh crap, the trend of malls going out is still continuing here. Online sales still only make up like 19% of all sales. That's nuts. That's going to go to 50% soon. And the malls are going to be they're going to burn to the ground when these things happen, when we start hitting some new thresholds here. People call recovery stocks value. I agree with Kathy Wood when she says you got to be careful of value traps. Now, she doesn't go out of the way to say it's these companies, but we know what she's talking about. She's talking about companies that are not innovating, that are failing to catch up. Sometimes that could be some of the traditional auto companies that are refusing to innovate. It could be, they could be recovery stocks. And she calls these value traps. And I think she's right on. And her argument is the true value is where our money is going in the future. And that's to the Amazons, the Teslas, the Etsy's, the Pinterests, the Pelotons, the Enphases, the Redfins, the Squares, the Teladocs, even the Kevin O'Leary Zooms, the Zillows, right? That's our future. Let's be real. So, the definition of value is a little skewed. Now, if you look at like Warren Buffett style value, if you want Warren Buffett style value, you look at a stock like Shift. It plays along with Warren Buffett's playbook perfectly. It goes nowhere. It just trades sideways, but its value is great. Like that's a good one. Compare Shift to Carvana and Zoom. Vroom. And you'll love it. All right, what else we have? Churchill Capital is up 4% today. I did not add to Churchill today, but I do owe adding a little bit to Churchill. I actually ran out of time to add because I was using M1 Finance. DocuSign, look at that, 187, really nice. Under 200 for Docu, folks. Under 200. Matterport, wow. You know what? Somebody said this in the comments earlier, and I'm going to steal it. It's a good day when Matterport's up. It's such a great company, but it's gotten destroyed in this SPAC wreck. It's fine with me. I've just been adding to it. I know it's temporarily painful. I get it. Don't get me wrong. It has at 589. Come on, man. The thing was almost it was like $905 at one point. Yeah, your portfolio was like a big, but these are steals. What else do we have here? Twitter's at 51. Twitter, that's a big sell-off on Twitter. That's not bad. I had to sell it. I couldn't keep up. What'd you sell? Everything? I hope you didn't. Moderna. I actually do like Moderna a lot. My vision for Moderna is I'm really waiting for all of the vaccine stocks to just kind of plummet once we're done with the COVID vaccine, because I want to get into the mRNA stocks as genomic plays, even though they might, or I should not call it as like bio plays. I'm gonna say bio is my umbrella for like genomics and curing diseases and then pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. The Invites, the CRISPRs. I'll nibble on those now, but really waiting for Moderna and Pfizer to sell down a little bit. Still a lot of vaccine trader pressure in there, I believe. Salesforce has done nothing, literally nothing for like 7 months. It's sat at like 220. It's been nuts. I mean, let's go to the week here. Yeah, I mean, this right here is the nothingness. That brings you back to September. That was the end of Salesforce. And since then, it's actually literally been following this line that we drew. Pretty sure we drew this line back in December. And it's kind of just matched that trend. What else do we have here? Bitcoin. Bitcoin's really struggling. Bitcoin kind of stuck, just stuck. Let's listen to this Jefferies analyst for a moment.
So there's a way to go. But what we're seeing in the U.S. is U.S. capacity is only down about 27% versus 2019 levels, but Europe is really lagging, and that's what these airline stocks need. Europe is still down about 60% for the month of June, we're estimating, in terms of capacity relative to normalized levels. And also Asia is lagging.
All right. Talking about airplanes, I got it. Let's look after hours really quick. I mean, pretty much everything's green here on the day, but in after hours, we do have Arrival down 4.8%. Must have been some kind of news here on Arrival. Microvision sitting at about 0.75. Poshmark has just been getting wrecked. Had a good day today, but it's been getting destroyed. It's been pretty bad. ARK, Coinbase, yeah, I mean, this is pretty flat. Up 2% on Northern, Lion Electric vehicles. Redfin, Solar Edge, Canoe leading a little bit. But really, I'd be diving in and looking at some of your favorites right now and seeing if there's some good opportunities to buy. Good opportunities like getting 39% off the amazing courses linked down below with private live streams. Check it out, folks. Okay, I think we did pretty good here. I'm happy. I'm going to do a quick look at Doge here. But today I think it's a good day. Will the recovery maintain? We'll see. Will we get a short squeeze? We'll see. Doge up 57%. Sorry, not 57%. It's up to 57 cents right now. We'll do a quick look to see if we have anything new from Elon Musk, and then we'll also nothing new from Elon. So look at the end with kind of looking at some of the crypto prices here. We've got 57 cents on CoinMarketCap for Dogecoin, 50.2 on Bitcoin. Ethereum really holding on to that 4K level. Very, very strong hold, especially since we went down to about 2,200 just a few weeks ago. So very, very good hold here. And Cardano rising again back to 195. Did go down to about 181 there for a brief moment. So very, very nice. Very nice. Pharma industry is not my favorite. Yes, I agree with you. But anyway, folks, thank you so very much for being here. It's always a pleasure. If you like this kind of content, remember to subscribe if you have not yet. Because if you don't hit that subscribe button, when I look at my analytics and I'm like, nobody's subscribing out this video, I get a little discouraged at making videos. So if you like them and if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe. If you already have subscribed, hit the like button. All right.